Well, it's here, everyone. The Pocket 4 and the Pocket 4P have officially released some pretty decent updates. I'm really happy about this release. There's one update that a lot of people have been asking for ever since the Pocket 4 was released. And I'm going to get into exactly what was changed right now. Starting off, the first thing updated, they have now some storage options. So say you use Google Drive or you have a NAS, you can now upload directly to that if you connect to your smartphone within the Mimo app and you have your Pocket 4P on or your Pocket 4. Now the next big update, within the Pocket 4 and the Pocket 4P, you can finally shoot in slow motion in the D-Log profile. This is something that I've been asking for ever since the Pocket 4 was first released, and I wasn't sure why on earth they did not include D-Log, especially shooting at slower speeds like 4K 120. When the Pocket 3 had D-Log M at 4K 120, it sort of felt like it was a bit of a step backwards. But now with this update, you can shoot all the way up to 4K 200 frames per second, which it does cut 40 FPS off that, but I think it's still going to provide really excellent, sharp, nice detailed video. I just want to make one correction. If you are wanting to shoot 4K 240, you can actually do so with the 1X lens in D-Log. Now, if you switch over to the 3X, you're limited to only 200 frames per second. For these run tests, I'm going to start with the camera locked down using the 1X with my shutter speed double the frame rate. Moving on to slow motion with the 3X lens, lower the shutter speed to 400. Let's look at an example of that, tracked and one not tracked. For some strange reason, I was under the impression you could actually use the 6, 8, or 12X lens while using the slow motion, but unfortunately, within normal and also D-Log, you're not able to use anything beyond the 3X lens. Now, there's likely a lot of people out there that don't own FrameTap like myself, and I find a really great way to use slow motion if you're wanting only shorter clips is to use the microphone. Use the pairing button on the microphone. I'll show you right now what I mean. If you press the pairing feature on the microphone right here, you should have the ability to stop and start your video. And I think that's a great way to get around the otherwise extremely long clips that you would have otherwise. Next thing to be updated within the camera is the joystick. The joystick is excellent on the Pocket 4 and the Pocket 4P, but now you can do diagonal movements with it compared to before. Before you were only able to do side to side movements like this and up and down. But now you have the ability to do diagonal movements, and I think this really helps to create more cinematic content, as you can see here. So I'm really happy to see that they are improving the joystick, because I think this is one of the selling points compared to the Luna Ultra. Now I set the joystick speed to slow, and you can make some really nice cinematic movements with this. I'm not that good with it right now because I don't really use it much, but you can see how this could definitely be useful, especially when you set it to a slower movement. Now, if you were to set this to 5, it can be way faster than that. You can see how responsive this is, and good luck trying to shoot anything cinematic with this. Now, if you want to change the joystick settings, all you have to do is go into the cogwheel, which is settings, and then it'll be the very first thing within that menu. You'll be able to see the joystick, and you can adjust the zoom speed and also the gimbal speed. Back now to D-Log, because I want to talk about 2 new LUTs that were added. First of which is a new standard D-Log to Rec 709 LUT. So we're going to have a look at that now. How does this look? Now let's look at the new Vivid LUT that they've included. I haven't downloaded this LUT previously, so I'm not sure I'll even be able to find the previous LUT within their website, but how does the Vivid LUT look? Personally, myself, I like to use the ACES workflow, and if you wanna see exactly how I use that workflow, check out my latest Pocket 4P video where I go into full detail and show you a guide how to achieve that color grade within DaVinci Resolve. For this review today, we're using the Freewell ND/CPL filter set for the Pocket 4 Pro, using the 64 right now, which is why it's not in the case. These have been excellent for me so far. I highly recommend them. Now for charging the Pocket 4 and the Pocket 4P, this is a wonderful charger, 5000 mAh from Telesin. It does have a battery indicator. Probably going to be pretty hard to see right now, but yeah, excellent little device. Links will be in the description for both products. Now, the next big update really covers one of the Pocket 4P's biggest weaknesses on launch date. Now, the tracking has been improved on both the Pocket 4P and the Pocket 4. Within both cameras, you have the ability to press the joystick in order to track you. Watch as I put the camera to the side, press the joystick. It will lock on to something else. Okay, because I have dynamic tracking selected. So now, the benefit of that, however, is it will lock whatever is in, say, the corner, the sides, the top, wherever you want it selected. So now as I flip this around, I'll be able to track this Telesin charger here, no matter how I turn the camera. Let's do some torture testing. It's doing a pretty good job, actually. Wow, that's really locking on pretty good. Okay, so I'm actually pretty impressed by this. Okay, so I did lose it there. I was getting a little crazy with that. And the fact that it was able to lock onto it for as long as it did. Now, once again, you have to go into the dynamic framing section in order to activate this. But wow, what an update. I really am happy to see this within the Pocket 4P because I thought that this is something that was needed to be added into these cameras, because when you're wanting to, say, use the 3X or 6X or 12X, even though I'm not a huge fan of the 12X lens, being able to track subjects just makes it that much easier. So I'm really happy that they added this within the dynamic framing. Now, I love that the Pocket 4 and the Pocket 4P have tracking within this camera. That's excellent, but it's just far too jarring for the average viewer. Anytime someone shoots a video using mostly this tracking feature, people are complaining nonstop in the comments, and it only gets worse the closer you are to the camera. Every single micro movement you make ends up shifting the camera, and people just absolutely hate it. Now, if you are a little bit further away, it's not as bad. It doesn't macro adjust every little movement, but as you can see, me moving side to side is still likely panning a little bit. So please, DJI, add in some additional sensitivity settings so that it's not so jarring for your viewers to watch. Now, the next feature I had no idea was already on the Pocket 4P, but this is now being carried over to the Pocket 4, and this is when you're using the fill light that comes with the camera. Now, when you buy the Pocket 4P, you can't buy it without that fill light, which is hilarious because I bought that accessory separately with the Pocket 4, and I obviously can't return it now, and I just assumed that I would carry it over to the camera. But anyways, I have two of them now. But when you're using that mini fill light, you will actually have it automatically adjust the brightness and temperature settings. And I think that makes it pretty useful compared to before. I find that the buttons that were on it were a little bit hard to use, but let's see how well this works. I switched on the fill light, and I think there is a bug with this currently right now. When I have it set to automatic settings, it's not adjusting the light properly. Watch, I'll turn it into auto settings now. Now this is automatic settings, and you can see it's not adjusting to this darkly lit scene. It's very bizarre how that works. Now, switching back over to manual settings, this light can get much brighter than it is. So why is it not automatically adjusting? Now I'm in the auto white balance and exposure with the fill light, and it seems like it's not really changing the color of the light whatsoever when I adjust this newer basics light. Very strange. I'm also using this blue light, and I can see what settings it's using, and it's using the lowest setting and warm when this is clearly a very blue light. Now switching over to a warm light, and the settings aren't changing whatsoever, so I have to say that the fill light seems broken at this point. Now I just want to show me adjusting it manually. These are the different levels. So it should provide around this much power, and these are the temperature settings. But why is it not doing this automatically? As I close things out, I'll have links for the products mentioned in the description and also the pinned comment. Thank you so much everyone for watching up till this point. Subscribe for more updates like this. I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you. Take care. Bye.